This portion of the CU podcast is brought to you by Mando. You know what's important, Ian? Hygiene. You want to look and smell nice,
especially if you're going to conventions, concerts, that sort of thing.
Or you're just going out for a walk. You're going to the store. You don't want the stank all around. That's why you got to get a hold of Mando here.
You know what makes Mando unique? It's a whole body deodorant, safe to use anywhere. Pits, junk, thighs, bellies, cracks, feet, wherever you want to use it. It's created by a doctor who saw firsthand how normal BO was being misdiagnosed and mistreated. Clinically proven to block odor all day and control odor for up to 72 hours. And it comes in a stick, comes in a cream, comes in a spray. All the ways you want to get it, you can get it.
Let me tell you why that's important. Because obviously with your armpits, you get a stick, you're good to go. But you know, I sometimes go for a walk. The feet can get a little stanky. That's why you can get even the cream. Just put a little cream on your foot. When you take off your shoe, you're not going to potentially pass out from the stank. You're good to go with that.
And there's a ton of different scents you can get. There's bourbon leather, clover woods, Mount Fuji, or Pro Sport for the athletic among our listeners. 12 hours after a shower, the average man's odor level was a 5 out of 10. With Mando, the average is 0 out of 10.
And Mando's got a starter pack. It's perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, like mini body wash and deodorant wipes, and free shipping. And as a special offer for listeners, new customers get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code. That equates to over 40% off your starter pack using code CUPodcast at shopmando.com. That's SHOPMANDO.com. Please support our show and tell them we sent you and use that code CUPodcast. Smell fresher, stay drier, and boost your confidence from head to toe with Mando. Ian.
Pat.
We finally got that speculated Switch 2 announcement. Sorry, it's not an announcement, Nintendo. I'm sorry, don't come at me, Nintendo. So in the past, I want to say 8 months or so, there have been so many leaks that have come out on social media. I've gotten emails from people.
So have I, same person actually.
Saying that, hey, I have news about what this looks like. I have like some sort of like 3D print file that's accurate because it might have leaked out of a third party. That
I can tell you about that later.
Yeah,
but yes.
So and then we're seeing all this stuff. Hey,
part of that was online anyway.
The public knew what the Switch 2 looks like through all these leaks several months ago. They knew details about it.
I wouldn't say several months ago, but I think it was like end of November was when it really came out.
Okay, 5 months, but like about the magnetic Joy-Cons.
Yes.
The stand looks different. It's a full kickstand. We were getting this information that
it's bigger.
When I'm looking at this, I'm like, this seems reasonable. This seems like it could be it.
Yes.
Like when the Switch first came out in 2017, all the leaks were nowhere near what it was.
That X1 was ridiculous. That thing that looked like a fucking shiny boomerang with 2 joysticks on it.
So when the Switch was that first trailer, that was like fall of 2016. Mm-hmm. That was the first real look the public really got on how that system looked, how the Joy-Cons worked, and they slid in and out. When you're showing all the 22 to 24-year-olds hanging out on the rooftop, having their beers and playing Mario Kart, the one guy wakes up, plays Zelda, pops it in his book bag, gets on the plane, plays it on the kickstand, goes. That to 99% of us, that was our first look of the Switch.
Yes.
Not the case with the Switch 2.
Yeah.
Much to Nintendo's chagrin, this was all out in the open and they were not happy about it.
No. So, they clearly weren't ready to announce. They've been dragging their fucking feet on this forever. And I get it. They released a once in a lifetime success. They finally beat Sony's sales.
Yeah,
we've said that a billion times, but is this like the official worldwide now? Did they top Sony's updated PS2 sales? Is that what happened?
The updated sales.
Update.
Yeah, they might have.
Because we talked about the updated sales.
Yes.
Anyways, I'm just going to keep assuming that it sold more than any other video game.
Yeah, there was an article RGN, Nintendo Switch passed PS2 sales in US. Maybe not world.
Okay. Anyway.
Okay, so we got a Nintendo Switch 2 first look trailer. That's Nintendo's words on the YouTube video. First look trailer. So not a full announcement, a first look trailer.
I gotta tell you, you get one look. You do get a first and only look.
I mean, it's 2 minutes of, hey, here's some CG renders of here's the Joy-Cons, here's the first Switch, and now here's it transforming into the Switch 2. you know, and it's almost exactly what people said. It's a bigger screen. It's like 40% bigger, the screen.
So if you somehow missed it, which maybe you could have with, I mean, honestly, I found out, I found out the day before that it was coming out, that they were doing that little trailer on the 6th, right? Or whatever.
They
I think
announced
it was
on social media.
Yeah, they announced it on social media, and I forgot to wake up to check it out. And I completely forgot they even announced it because I'm going through social media and no one's talking about it. And then I saw something like when I Googled something, there was like a little news thing like Nintendo shows Switch 2. I was like, I click on it, I was like, oh, well, that's why no one's talking about it. So this is what I took from it, though. This was a stop speculating. This is what it looks like. 2 minutes. That's what they wanted. I think it eased any concerns that people had that Nintendo was not going to follow up on a major success by refining it and doing another.
You're saying some people were scared it wouldn't be a handheld like hybrid. It would be
because Nintendo has certainly been wackier, done sillier things.
They have.
Sticking the cartridges a generation too late, releasing a sequel to a console that no one knew was a sequel to a console. You know, making a console that, I mean, Nintendo, this is the most, aside from the evolution from Nintendo to Super Nintendo, this is the most sane evolution they've had, and perhaps the most, and
not counting their handheld
because
evolution.
It's backwards compatible, and you know, but all it is it's bigger. And so I think that was meant to calm people down, be like, yep, we're staying the course. And then they said at the end that they would be showing more on April 2nd. So
sure.
My first takeaway is just that's what I want. That's what I wanted. I just want another Switch that's more powerful. That will play my old games and play new ones.
We've seen
bigger Joy-Cons. Bigger system equals bigger Joy-Cons, and I'm hoping they're a little bit beefier.
I mean, did they show the difference in size?
They did. They show this difference in size.
Yeah, they're like 20% bigger. Yep. They are bigger.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
so absolutely. It's a bigger console in general.
Yeah, it's a much bigger console. Yeah. I'd say 20% is a pretty
no
big
D-pad
increase.
Still.
So that was my number one problem. Like,
come on, Nintendo,
fucking A.
I mean, you want to sell a new Controller Pro again to us? Hopefully that's backwards compatible. And I'm not even in love with that D-pad.
Well, that D-pad's even worse. I mean, it's awful.
Well, it's better than using those push buttons.
Yeah, but the corners are way... Like, try playing Tetris with that fucking D-pad. Hey, it's impossible.
I'm talking to a Mario 35 expert here.
I could do Mario 35 too.
Okay.
that didn't require the precision of something like Tetris, where I'm just dropping fucking blocks left and right.
So for you, that would make more sense. The regular Joy-Con buttons.
No, a D-pad that just doesn't suck would make the most sense.
They invented the D-pad. They literally invented the D-pad.
They've had good D-pads on every system except for the Switch.
They literally patented the D-pad via the Game & Watch.
So it's just nonsense. There's no excuse for this.
The D-pad turns like 45 years old or so. I think it's like 80 or so.
So I'm really hoping for a decent Pro controller or an official Nintendo-made one with a fucking D-pad.
So you got 2 USB charging ports instead of one. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So an extra one is nice. You can do something extra with it. I don't know what, but it's nice.
So it's probably, so like, I'd assume it's for accessories.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times with accessories, you can only hook it up to the dock. There's 2 USBs on the dock, but on the actual portable system, there's only the one place to put something in there.
What else? They show the Joy-Con kind of being used as a mouse. It's on its side.
I think that's interesting.
That's extremely smart because if you turn it on its side,
it's so interesting.
The trigger is now
a clicker.
That's brilliant. It's almost like
a very elegant solution. If that's the case, that's fucking thinking.
It's like, hey,
each one's an optical mouse as well.
But it's like it's the same tech though. They could have done it with that and saying, okay, now when them showing that they have something that's going to utilize that. Some game is going to utilize that out the gate.
Well, and I think it's great too because if you use one as a mouse and you hold the other controller in your hand, suddenly all these PC games that don't really make sense on consoles with controllers or don't control as well with controllers, you now have the ability to play them with a mouse.
Yeah.
Civilization, for instance, is one that I always think of. Civ does play okay on a console.
Any strategy game, though,
but it's going to be way better with a mouse. And that's, I mean, I can see it.
You can get your Doom 64 on with that now.
You know, shit.
He's excited just for that. I'm surprised. Like, so in theory, could someone do this with their Joy-Cons right now? Because it doesn't have IR, could you kind of use it as a mouse?
Well, they do have some sort, but it's extremely not like it's not
designed for that.
Specific enough to do
and
it.
this will be them showing that. This will be apps. And I'm like, well, that's fucking interesting, man. Going back to the dude, I'm like, okay, all right. Yeah, they literally show it on its side, and they have kind of little tails drawn that they're mice. I'm like, that's okay, Nintendo.
So if that's the case, I think
it's a straps as their tail, but they look like mice. That's the intent.
So that's one of the most interesting things to me is that possibility. The backwards compatibility is great. We've known it for a while, but that would have been an immediate nail in the coffin for the system.
Absolutely. Every console handheld they've had, minus weird ones here and there, have been backwards compatible for Nintendo for 20.
Handhelds, yes. Yeah.
Well, GameCube was fine. Wii U to Wii worked,
Oh, yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
Yep. You're right.
You're
right. They've been doing it for a while now.
Well, so there you go. Obviously, Wii U was backwards compatible from Switch. It was re-released the games. We released every single game that came out except for Star Fox.
Yeah,
the
except for a good version of Star Fox Zero.
The one that they could have. That's probably the last one they released, I'm guessing, because they've done every other first party, I think, re-release.
Honestly, I don't think we're... I mean, if we're getting more news in April, I was telling you, I think that means the September launch. I think we're
You're
going
jumping the gun. We didn't even get there yet. Okay.
I don't know how much more we have left out of a 2-minute video.
We didn't talk about the magnetic Joy-Con docking. That's interesting to me.
That's interesting, man. Yeah, as a person who was still working at Luna,
2 locations.
Check him out. Great guy. He just dropped me off some chocolates from Hawaii the other day.
Some chocolates from Hawaii.
They were good. Those fucking rails. Kids beat the shit out of them. They drop them, they bend them, they rip the Joy-Cons out without pressing the buttons.
Oh, I see. So this will be safer.
Well, I'm hoping. The problem is there's still like that connection point. And I'm hoping the magnets are very strong so we don't get like a problem where it like slips or bends.
I would think it would be so deep enough that someone had a joke.
I think
online.
so, probably.
Someone had a joke online. Oh, what happens if you hold it on its side with one Joy-Con? It will fall. I think they're going to make it strong enough to where it'll be okay. They thought of that. They want people busting their. We'll get the price point. Busting their $300 to $400 Switch too. You know what I mean? Like, I think Nintendo's smart enough that they're going to think about that. There's going to be like, you're going to have to really. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think a 3-year-old will easily be able to take one out without holding the console in place and then pulling it.
Sure.
That's my opinion. I think Nintendo is not going to be that dumb. Switch 2, perfect name. I saw some
easy, clean. I saw people complaining.
I saw articles saying, wow, we expect Nintendo to do something wacky. This is too safe. It's like...
So you can make fun of it and call it a failure immediately like every other time? Nintendo... Everyone has said, when the Wii U came out, even when the Wii came out before it got popular, people are like, why does Nintendo always have to throw a fucking gimmick into this shit? Well, they finally landed on the right gimmick.
This is the closest sequel. You said Super Nintendo. This is the closest console sequel we have had.
This is closer than Nintendo to Super Nintendo.
Well, I'm saying it's the same thing now. Yeah. We're taking what it's good, and we're just making it better.
Yep.
That's it. Same format. Basically the same controllers. Super Nintendo NES. We'll just add buttons to it. Same format of media. Cartridge to these are the little discs. Or whatever you want to call them.
And I just want every console from now on to put a different number at the end of it because people are saying, oh, they should call it the Super Switch.
No.
And it's like, no.
I thought about that at first. I was like, no.
It would have been cute for people to understand, but the idea is market clarity.
Yes.
And I think a lot of people aren't old enough to remember that when the Super Nintendo came out, there was
confusion.
Tons of confusion. They got over it eventually, and the Super Nintendo was clearly a success. It's not like the Wii to the Wii U, but there was confusion.
Think about parents, especially parents in the early 90s.
Especially the way electronics are now.
Parents in the early 90s, a lot of them didn't grow up with video games. They're like, I don't know what you want to buy my kid. What's the Super Nintendo? I got to buy a new People were upset. There were news stories back in 91, 92 about how parents were upset that they had to buy a new console.
Because it got popular in 88, but then by 90 was when it started to come down in price. And when, that's you don't understand video games, you buy a console for your kids, and the next year there's a new one out.
There were kids like we were getting, the most popular NES game came out in 90, Super Mario 3, a year before.
Yeah.
So it's like, what the hell? Now I got to spend $300 on new games on console. Anyway, the point is this. In terms of power, I've seen speculation. This is between a PS4 and a PS4 Pro. We're talking like 8-year-old technology, which by that point, we're going to get to diminishing returns again. Where it's like, okay, especially on a handheld, that's fucking good, man. I saw some people saying, well,
we have gotten to diminishing returns.
Well, definitely with this generation.
Yes.
But the point is like, you don't need fucking super blast processing for the next Zelda game. Like, we're not going to need that. But the point is that I saw people, the one complaint I saw was like, okay, is it going to be OLED or not? I was like, okay.
Better be.
That's the one complaint I can be like, okay, I see that. Especially since they've released an OLED Switch and charged you whatever it was, $50 more for it.
The only thing is OLED screens are a lot more expensive. So if Nintendo follows what they usually do, which is try to, well, their 2000 plus policy anyways, where they kind of focus on older tech to release things at a cheaper price, I could see this launching with a standard LCD first and an OLED model later.
And get away with it?
Only because it would keep the price down.
It would keep it like $50 less.
And lots of people don't have OLED TVs in their house. I mean, they're still a luxury, but on handhelds, it is becoming more of a norm.
And some people will mostly play this docked anyway. Maybe they won't need the OLED. You know what I mean? Like, so they'll be fine.
Yeah, I have an OLED TV. I mean, it's the only piece of technology I'm fucking weird about. I love them, and I'm going to mostly play this on a TV.
We assume it's going to be 4K docked. We assume that.
Yes, 4K docked. I would say 2K.
Which is more enough. And a screen that size, 1080p is fine.
I would even say 1080p is fine. Just
yes.
I was very upset with the Switch's 720p. It makes everything look noticeably. Games either looked like they were tuned for the handheld or for the TV. Yeah. And I think with 1080p, that would be 1080p much better.
Will be more than enough. You can go, again, there's websites that have screen size versus eye distance of when your eye can actually decipher the resolution, and it's not. You'll be surprised of what your brain accepts as okay. I can't tell the difference anymore. But yeah, 1080p. I think for that bigger screen size, that'll be fine for people. I think. I think obviously the power frames per second. Breath of the Wild did get down to 30 frames or a little bit below on some portions, and it's like okay.
I mean, the Switch really fucking struggles with a lot of games.
Yeah,
it really does.
Remember, Breath of the Wild was developed for the Wii U. So
no, but I'm just saying, like the Switch was. I mean, the Switch really showed its age. I mean, I want to say like 3 years in, we were already having pretty big performance issues. So hopefully, this will be prevent that.
I just think it's. I mean, this is for a console 8 years in between the sequel. That's not heard of in the history of video games.
I got my Switch when I still had my gut issues. That's how long ago it was.
Yeah. It's crazy. I guess you can say, well, Super Famicom, the original Famicom was 7 years. We think of the North America. If that's the closest you can say to it because they dominated.
But it also feels longer to us because we were younger at that point. We were younger too.
Sure. But 85 to 91, 6 years. 91 to 96, 5 years. 96 to 2001, 5 years. 2001 to 2006, 5 years. 2006 to 2012, 6 years. 2012 to 17, 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, Nintendo really did start to I mean, their lifespan, their console lifespans were much shorter than
5 years.
Competitors. And I think that's what they really wanted to do with the Switch was kind of get back on track so that, they're... Well, they're not, though, because they're releasing this at a weird in-between point on the PS5 and Xbox Series life cycle. I don't know. I think they just wanted to get back to a more robust console life cycle.
I don't know anything that's about robust. I think they were selling 150 million of these. There's no reason to do a new console.
Right, but also they no longer have to have separate developments separated out for a handheld console.
Yes.
So now they can put all of their talent together to make games for this, and they can stretch the releases out longer.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
But my point is like the reason that they rushed to the Switch because the Wii U was an abysmal failure. So you had to.
It was so bad.
You had to. They were within 2 years. They realized, oh no, we have to abandon this. With the Switch. Destroyed everyone's expectations. It might go on and pass the PS2 for worldwide all time, which is incredible just because there's so many more ways to entertainment and handheld PCs. That's the other complaint that pissed me off. Oh, this looks like handheld PCs. Guess where they got their look from? The handheld PCs. There wasn't a lot of handheld PCs before 2017, people.
Right, and the ones that were didn't really look like the Switch.
So what do you...
The Switch comes out and now everything looks like a Switch.
Yes. You have a screen in the center, rectangular. You have controllers on left and right. How else are you supposed to design a handheld?
Right. At this point, what else are you supposed to do?
It's like designing a controller. Like, we know what works.
Yep.
Tried and true.
We are beyond the point where the cheap electronics require you to make something that looks toy-like. You can now make something that is carried by adults and kids alike.
Yes, we're there. So, yeah, they showed a new Mario Kart that had like 32 racers in it. That's interesting.
Man.
I think someone said that they show a pit stop in here. So there's a speculation there could be a pit stop. Oh, right, but we have a real stand, by the way. I didn't mention that. The stand is actually a real stand that won't potentially snap if you look at it the wrong way.
No, you said that. You said that. Yeah.
It's a full stand. It's a full stand. You won't snap it by accident. It was our friend Andre did at the presentation of the original Switch.
And it's a big enough screen now that I think it would actually be viable for people like me with bad eyes that are getting worse as I get older to actually use it as like a
to gather around with multiple people.
I could actually put that on like a table and play like that.
There you go, Ian. So you're thinking old man, our us Nintendo fanboys are aging. We're getting older. We're midlife crises right now. So people were speculating that. I had on my list. So April 2nd, they're going to obviously do reveals. And I have 3 games on here from definitely going to show, probably, and maybe. They're definitely going to show the new Mario Kart, being that they showed it here. I mean, that's always their top 2 or 3 biggest sellers on their console. It's always up there. Was it number one on? That was number one on Wii without looking it up. Wii U was probably number 1 on Wii U, and then on Switch it was probably 2 or 3. I looked that up.
So here's my thought.
Yeah,
it's your second one. I think Metroid Prime 4 is a guarantee. And I think they'll use it to show off some mouse function.
You think so? Interesting. Not just first-person shooter stuff, but other maybe little things?
No, I think mostly first-person shooter stuff, but I think that would be the right game to show that off for.
Interesting, Ian.
I think that's
why he's on the podcast.
Right.
I didn't even think about that. To put that together. And then maybe a new Star Fox. I mean, it's been long.
That game is just so fucking broken that I don't think they could really... Just make a new one.
A new one.
Yeah, just make a new one. Just make a new one that focuses on the shooting. The shooting. People like to fly a spaceship and shoot.
But the fact that they haven't remade the one game they haven't remade from the Wii U, maybe they're going to remake it for and not do a new one on... Oh, God.
But they forced so many awkward fucking controls into that game that you can't do on the Switch.
Sure, okay.
That they would have to either eliminate those levels altogether or really redevelop the game to the point where I think at that point they'll just make a new game.
So they won't bother with the remake.
Make a new game and put a couple levels in that kind of like tell the story of Star Fox Zero to get you up to speed.
Missions?
Yeah,
some
early bonus missions.
Rogue Squadron had a bunch of bonus
missions, and then just go into the game.
Okay, I can dig that.
I'm thinking.
That's not... He's doing the Nintendo marketing for them. So those are the 3. New Mario Kart, which to me, that game is perfection. Mario Kart 8, the Switch version...
It's going to be tough to top it.
It's a perfect game. So if you want to change the flow of it and put in pit stops and like tires being blown out or gasoline stop... I don't know.
I could be very interested in it. Here's my thing. I do need something new. An amazing collection of tracks, but what they should have done when they added more tracks was add more car parts, because everyone has basically min-maxed that game to the point where everyone's basically driving the same carts.
That's bad. They should have nerfed the parts then.
And so that's honestly where I feel that's why I want a new one. And I've played Mario Kart 8 so much and I love it to death, but give me some gimmicks that don't suck. Like a pit stop sort of thing could be interesting. Don't give me 3 people driving one car.
Yeah, we didn't see any double dashing.
By the way, I know some people love double dash, and it's a neat concept, but I never got into it.
Too gimmicky.
It's my least favorite of the Mario Karts.
You want to keep racing games more simple than complex, in my opinion.
Yeah, like I said, neat idea. It just didn't do it for me.
Yeah, well, we didn't see that. We did see 32 racers. That'll be a fun.
Was that really what we saw?
I think it was 32. It was more than 16. It was a line of racers. It was like four sets of racers.
I mean, it was a lot, but
let me see. Well, I'm going to count here. I'm going to do the pat map here. Let's see. Switch 2. Yeah, at the end of the trailer, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. There's at least 16 before it cuts.
Okay, 16 to me makes sense.
At least 16.
But that's how many are there normally? 12?
Is it 12 in this one?
It's 12 or 16. It might be 16, honestly.
Someone said they said 32, but I don't. That would be,
Anyway,
that would be
whatever.
nuts.
In closing it up here.
Okay.
What do you think the price point's going to be? I'm going to say 450.
No, that's way too much. People are going to have a heart attack at 450.
I don't think so. Not with the current price of. I would love it to be lower, but with the current price of consoles, the current price of graphics processors, with the fact that
this is
the
using the
OLED,
old one, though.
the fact that the OLED model is 350. I don't think you're getting a new Switch for $50 more than the OLED model.
How much is it 350 for the OLED right now? still?
Unless it recently dropped, it's 350.
And the original Switch was 300. I think. Remember, Ian, this is not brand new tech, and they do have their proprietary technology to upscale.
Okay, so the OLEDs are actually
What are they at OLED? I will say this
I'm seeing prices anywhere from $282 to $350.
for OLED.
So I think from Nintendo themselves, it's $350 is the MSRP still.
I'm going to say 350.
Okay.
And that's maybe it's not LED. I think they want to stay under 400. I don't think they want to approach that. I'll say 350. And you're going to say, well, but they think about how much money they made and continue to make from the Switch. They could make a minor profit or make no profit and be fine.
Okay. I mean, I'm looking at the Switch OLED right now, and it is $350 from Nintendo. There's no way they announce the system at a $350 price point in April. I don't see it.
Well, this is not going to. Oh, okay. You think it'll be 400, or they won't bump the price of that down to 300?
I think it will be $450.
Okay.
I would love it to be $400. I don't think there's any way in hell it's $350.
Okay. I was going to keep in mind this is 8-year-old technology again. They're not using brand new technology. It's always 8-year-old technology.
I don't know about 8, but yes, I know they always use old technology.
PS4?
And they usually surprise me with their pricing, but
Yeah.
I do think this might be the time where Nintendo tries to Nintendo's going to be Nintendo, but they might try to muscle in a little bit into big boy territory.
I don't think they want to turn off the parents in their base.
I think that would be good, and I think they could dance around that, but
they're not Atari. They can't. No $500 asteroid.
But I don't
watches.
think a reasonably powerful Nintendo
Again.
handheld at $450 is an exorbitant price.
Again, but that reasonably powerful may not be hardware. They're using software.
Well, they are
upscale.
doing some upscale software. Yeah,
They patented some technology.
yeah, they have their own DLSS and
Yes.
whatever
So
it is.
it might
NVIDIA
not
has
be,
one.
It might not be as costly as you think under the hood. We don't know. We'll find out in April. I think it'll come out probably September, October. Something
I
like that.
think I'm going to call mid-September.
Mid-September. So that'll give you.
Mid-September, $450. Let's see what happens.
And they're going to do little demos at certain locales. We didn't talk about that much.
That's right.
So that's going to be in the spring as well. So. All right.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I have not bought a PS5 or an Xbox Series. At this point, I won't. I've just been so uninterested in consoles that I've mostly been gaming on PC, and I still use my Switch quite a bit. But it will be nice to have that kind of. I do miss new console excitement.
Sure.
So
There
it's
you
been 8 years. 8 fucking years.
Already potty trained in 2nd or 3rd grade.
Yeah.
Switch.